Okay, so I want to welcome ASUNM President Isaac Romero. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, so we'll get right to it. And first things first, why did you decide to run for re-election?
Well, I decided to run for re-election for several reasons. Much thought went into this with talking with my friends, family, and I decided that one, I haven't finished my degree, so that's part of it, but also I feel like primarily my work at ASUNM for the students is not complete yet, and so I want to be able to finish it and work that out through now, and then also help with another organization that I'm a part of and help continue to grow that. And I think these are all things that are keeping me here. And I also want to be here for my sister as she continues to grow. She's only 2 years old now, and I want to be around to see her continue to grow before I move off and become a big boy.
And what is the biggest issue that you've encountered during your first term? And would you plan to tackle it if you're re-elected?
So I think the issue that I've found with my first term is something that has been frustrating me now for the past several weeks, and that's the I guess the perceived lack of community at the university, and that comes from students not wearing red, not wanting to show their Lobo spirit. So I really want to build upon that, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I've already started on that by speaking with athletics, because I think that this could be an issue that starts with athletics and then getting their help to build upon it. So ideas such as getting all of our students to wear cherry and silver on Fridays to show, hey, I'm a Lobo, I'm proud of it, and so is everybody else on this campus, and really root students to want to be here on campus. And those are just some initial steps to really creating the culture change that I'd like to see at UNM, where students want to be here. They don't want to just come here, go to class, and go home, or work, or whatever else it is. They want to be here because they love UNM just as much as, if not more than I do, because I quite frankly love being here.
Okay. Last year you ran on the platform of achieving solvency for the lottery scholarship. Even though Senate Bill 150, the bill you initially supported, didn't pass the legislature, do you feel you fulfilled your promise to students?
So I guess our process in ASUNM was collaborating with schools from across the state. We were able to get input from New Mexico State, New Mexico Tech, New Mexico Highlands, CNM, Santa Fe Community College, and many others, and we were able to come together and develop a solution that we like to see. And that was our primary initiative, was to try to get a sponsor, a legislative sponsor up in Santa Fe, obviously to sponsor our bill. That didn't happen, so we picked up on Senate Bill 150, and that because it was the closest image to what we envisioned. However, there were a lot of things that we wanted to see changed in it, because there were several things in it that we didn't like the exclusion of students that are below sophomore status to being considered legacy students and having the same award that they're already used to. So that's an example of it, and I think the other thing is we were able to get some student input, and I think that's something that we'd like to expand upon more in the future.
Okay. What similarities did SB 150 have with your initial bill?
So the similarities were primarily the decoupling, because I think that's the biggest issue with the lottery scholarship is we were looking at, and a couple of things that we weren't so familiar with was how to add money to the bill. For example, Senate Bill 347 has the liquor excise tax, and I mean, quite frankly, I don't know where to start looking for that kind of money. I mean, I'm a college student. I'm not somebody that has access to that kind of information of being able to put that in. So we used the assumptions that we're going to only have the $40 million in revenue from the lottery ticket sales. Okay. And so with that assumption, we pretty much wanted to maintain the decoupling of, I think it was around $2,100 for research four-year institutions, $1,800 for four-year comprehensives, and then $1,000 for two-year schools. Okay. So that's the biggest similarity.
Did your student support bill involve raising the GPA requirements?
Yeah, I think both of. I think the the students' bill, the one that we came up with collaboratively with all of the schools across the state, had both a GPA and a credit hour increase. And I think the one thing that I think is interesting about Senate Bill 347 is that it had a so sorry. The interesting thing I think about Senate Bill 347 is that it had a credit hour increase and not a GPA increase. Because of them, I guess that doesn't make as much sense to me.
Okay. Do you have another question?
Yeah. Well, also during the legislative session, a couple of student groups said that you misrepresented them by distributing cards stating ASU&M's stance on the lottery solvency, primarily that you supported raising the GPA requirement. Do you feel that you represented students accurately on this issue, and how do you plan to represent students better in the future?
Right. So I think one of the biggest things that we are taking away from that whole issue is that there was a little bit of lack of communication between the students, ASU&M, and then the rest of, I guess, the legislature. And so what we really want to do is make sure that our students are heard. And I think I talked to you about this, Chloe, before, is having some town halls, more town halls, maybe once a month that say, okay, here are the biggest issues that are happening. What do our students think about them? And then we can have vehicles for students to actually put that input, and then we can take that and actually work with it and use it as the best as we can to say, okay, this is what our students are saying. And then another idea that I was thinking about was doing something similar to what President Frank did with his State of the University, but perhaps doing something like a State of the Undergraduate body. Not sure what the title would be, but something along those lines. And maybe that would happen at the end of each semester, or maybe it just happens in the spring semester, just giving those kinds of updates.
Okay. And earlier this week, your Slate Forward UNM posted on its Facebook page of Monday's Daily Lobo story about queer straight alliances push for universal restrooms, with the caption stating, and we agree. What concrete plans do you have to address this issue?
So this is an issue that has actually been in ASU&M for quite some time. And I've seen several resolutions written on it, and I believe, I'm pretty sure that a resolution that has come through while I was a senator, I voted in favor of. And I think that's there's simple things that can be addressed to change some bathrooms that already have the setup, just changing the sign. It's a really simple thing. I think we can see implemented, and I think that this just comes from a little bit of pressure from students saying, hey, administration, can we do this? And just working with them, compromising in it, becoming a, I guess, kind of something that we can do. And I think it's very, very attainable in the next year, and perhaps even over the summer, just so that way students don't have to worry about it when they come back for the fall semester.
Okay. Did you have any more questions?
Nope.
Did you want to add anything else?
No, I think this is a great opportunity, and thank you for having me.
And
Absolutely.
thank you for joining us at the Howl.
Of course.